Hello, my name is Gavin McCann, and here I'm going to be talking about some of the blueprints that I've set up and how they actually work, how I made them work. This is my hollow cube. So, like I said in the previous video, but you may not have seen that. Within what we just saw, that hollow cube is spawning out of itself after the player is able to interact with it. And we can come over to an NPC and they'll play a specific amount of dialogue options and also help breadcrumb the player a little bit further. And we have some records that are scattered throughout the level. So just go over and showcase. So now we're going to check and see the blueprints that I've actually created for this month's project. So we have the collectible. Also have my Walkman, aka the hollow cubes, and my NPCs. So we'll start off with the collectible. So we have a begin overlap and an end overlap, just checking to see if the player is overlapped with them. I had to create an interaction system, which can be seen in the top-down player. So if they're within range, then I have E set up in order to interact. So this part right here is checking to see if we're overlapping with a particular NPC, and then we're allowing them to be able to use the interaction. So when we come back to collectibles, we have our condition, we're casting to the top-down player and checking to see if an interaction has occurred. And then we're going to play a sound, and we're going to destroy it. Now we come over to the hollow violin. This one was a little bit more complicated. So on overlapping, if that's true, and violin spawned is false, then we're going to actually spawn an actor based off of whichever one that we need with the hollow class. I promoted this to a variable so that way we can actually swap which one we want, but that's going to be within the editor. I'll show that afterwards. So we're going to spawn it, and then we're binding to destroyed, and then we're resetting it so that way it knows that it's not spawned any further. We're only doing this once, and we're checking to see if an interaction has occurred yet again via casting and getting the player character, and then we're playing a sound allocation. So this one was a little interesting because I decided to let's grab the cube. So now you can actually select which holotype you would like. So now I have violin, drums, and trumpet, all of the ones that are showcased in the level. So now we come over to the interaction, and this is the dialogue system. Essentially, whenever we're interacting, we're going to increment through the dialogue index, but it has to check a couple things. So this is a tag, so we're checking to see if it's equal to karma, then that one will actually count as or it's either going to check and see if we've talked to Karma or if it's an NPC, and then it will add accordingly to the index. And we have all of these. So this is the very first dialogue option for one of the NPCs. And then we have the second and the third. We're going to go through karmas because they're essentially all the same, but karma is a little bit different. So if we're chatting with whatever NPC, it differs, like I said, based off of who we're talking to, but this is karma. So we're getting the widget with the interaction. We're going to remove that from the parent, then we'll show the dialogue option, casting it to whatever widget we need it to be, and then we're adding it to viewport, and this is the different widget that I had to set up in order to be able to get access to this dialogue option. So we're setting the text, we're coming through the dialogue option right here in terms of the map that we have set up, and checking to see where we are at within the dialogue chain, and if we're over or equal to 3, then we're just going to get all of the widgets of this class, and then we're going to take it off of the screen and then call conversation over. So this is an interaction box for the player in terms of whenever they move over one of the NPCs. So this one's pretty straightforward. Whenever we're not overlapping with them anymore, it'll take it away. But whenever we are, it'll show it. We're gonna add it to the viewport for them. So yeah, this was one of the more interesting things that I've added in a project. I haven't quite worked with interactions and like dialogue options with NPCs, and I'm really big into narrative design and being able to tell a story without actually needing to do that through the level. So I thought this was a really interesting way to be able to add a little bit more characteristics and a little bit more personality to my level. So those are my mechanics explained. If you stuck around this long, I appreciate it, and thank you. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day.